Okay, we're live on YouTube now, so everybody mute, and hopefully we'll get this thing fired up. They said they were going to start at 13 after, so.
Well, their slides are changing now, so I guess they will. I bet they're looking for our speaker.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome my fellow Rotarians, future Rotarians, guests, and Coach Brooks to our Rotary meeting today. This is a great day. We're excited to have Coach Brooks here. He's got one of his coaches, and this is a very exciting meeting. Many of you have probably heard this African proverb before, but I thought it fit in well today with Rotary and the mission of Coach Brooks and what he's trying to do with his team. It's often been said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what Paul Harris had in mind when he started Rotary and invited individuals to his office so they could work together as a team. And that's what happened with our Rotary Club 110 years ago when we started our club. So Coach Brooks can go out, he can recruit the #1 college player in America, but without building teamwork and collaboration, the team will not go very far. And that's such as it is with Rotary. So I wanted to start with that. If you all will please be seated. Jim, if you will approach the podium. Okay. Here we go. I know you all are very excited to have our new president coming in, and it's my honor to induct Jim Richardson as our new president. But I wanted to say one thing, and I have one word that I'd like to offer to all the members, and that is gratitude. I'm very thankful to be a Rotarian. I'm thankful to work with Jim and Bill and Dean and Peggy and all the Rotarians in this 3-month period that I've served as the president and co-president. And one of the great things is I get to talk a lot to Jim. We have another special word for it, but I won't use it today. And I learned a lot about Jim, and I want to tell you a couple of things real quick that you may not know before we induct Jim. Jim came to UK from Trinity High School in Louisville, and there's a move back. Well, there's a St. X guy back there apparently, but anyway, he came to UK on a track scholarship. He's a professional musician, but he works in wealth management to pay the bills. Probably his greatest accomplishment are the women in his life, Stacy and his 2 daughters, Caitlin and Riley. I think you have 2 granddaughters as well. So that's a little bit about Jim that you may or may not know about. He's going to do a great job as the president of the club. He was president 25 years ago. So this is your reunion tour.
Oh, well.
So without further ado, I'm going to issue the oath of office for Jim Richardson. Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Jim Richardson, as president of the Rotary Club of Lexington,
I, Jim Richardson, as the president of the Rotary Club of Lexington,
will to the best of my ability administer the duties
will to the best of my ability administer the duties
of the office of president in a business-like manner
of the office of president in a business-like manner,
and in accordance with the club's constitutions and bylaws.
according to the club's constitutional bylaws.
Congratulations, Jim. Use it properly.
No, that's, you gotta go that close. Thank you, Jamie. And yeah, at the board meeting yesterday, I mentioned that having this group of 4 people act as president has actually been kind of a blessing for us because it's allowed us to have this ongoing communication. And of course, we suck Brett into it and we suck Lyle into it. So now there's 6 of us. So really, we get nothing done. But it's an honor and humbling to be back at this podium. I did tell a story yesterday about my good friend David Bondell. After last week when I sat in for Jamie, he came up and he said, "No, you were president 25 years ago. I was president 45 years ago. And they've asked you back because you failed so miserably the last time." Anyway, it's a great day to be a Rotarian because we're changing lives every single day. So let me get my notes here. So inspiration, David Jones, come on up.
Thank you. On this day, October 2nd. On this day, October 2nd, Mahatma Gandhi was born in British-controlled India in 1869. It was the height of the Victorian age. Queen Victoria presided over the British Empire with colonies all over the world. India was the crown jewel of that empire, and Victoria could not have imagined losing that jewel, nor that this newborn subject of hers would have anything to say about it. Gandhi, trained as a lawyer, became the leader of the Indian National Congress in 1921 and led nationwide campaigns to organize peasants and farmers to protest against such things as the caste system. Worst of all, as far as the British were concerned, he also called for Indian self-rule, independence from the British Empire. Although he espoused civil disobedience, nonviolent protests, his anti-colonial campaigns got him imprisoned many times. Winston Churchill, the famed British Prime Minister, despised Gandhi, calling him a religious faker. But eventually Gandhi's message prevailed and Britain granted independence in 1947. Not long after, on January 30th, 1948, Gandhi was shot to death by a religious fanatic. His influence did not end with death, however. His beliefs in nonviolent resistance were adopted by others, notably Martin Luther King Jr. You could say that the civil rights advocates who marched in American streets in the 1960s were walking in the footsteps of Gandhi. Of all his achievements, perhaps the greatest is that he demonstrated what a difference one person can make in this world. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, and the four-way test. It's a true. It's a will and help, goodwill, and better friendship. Thank you, sir.
Now Mike Baker with introduction of guests.
Oh, that's way up there. Hi, everybody. We don't have any visiting Rotaract, but we have a very special visiting Rotarian from Jacksonville, Florida. Percy Rosenblum, where are you? Welcome, Percy. And we have a lot of guests today, and it's very special to you here. And we appreciate you coming. And we know you came to see this man over here. But I'd like all the guests of Rotarians, please stand up and be recognized and applauded. Welcome to Rotary.
And Bruce, you come up and we'll do the lottery.
Queen of Spades.
You're looking for the Queen of Spades. First one, last three digits. 064. And the next one, 128. 064 128. Oh, you already picked them? You're ahead of me. In the 128? Oh, well, who is 064? Nobody got it? Oh, you bought. Oh. This, Mr. President, come on up and draw a card. Just like we planned it, Jamie. I'm 10 minutes into it and I've screwed it up royally. Thank you, Bruce. No. This is it. I ain't coming back. Celebrating birthdays. Brett Anderson. Today. All right. Michael Wallace. And Jeff Pecoro. We've got some announcements, and it goes along with Coach Brooks being here. We've got bourbon and basketball. So that we're going to sell. We have some bottles of Knob Creek bourbon, and we're doing that next week. So next week, if you buy a bottle of Knob Creek bourbon that we have left over from Dancing with the Lexington Stars, Coach, you'd be great in that. I am here for you. So if you buy a bottle of bourbon next week, your name goes into a bucket, and then we'll draw a winner out next week. And there's 2 Lower Arena basketball tickets. Good tickets. So that's next week. Couple other things. Past president and past district governor Hunt Perkins passed away on September 18th. He was a member of our club in 1965 through 2022. That's 57 years. The memorial is going to be October 10th at 2:30 at Kerr Brothers. And he was a hell of a guy. We have coming up Lexington Walk for Alzheimer's on October 5th. We have a Rotary team. If Sarah Diener here, Sarah, where are you? Not here. You're on the team? Okay, well, you just sign up. And then Jenny's up front. We got Spin to Win to End Polio on October 16th, and that's on the table there. If you can't ride, you can make a donation, and that goes to the Paul Harris Fellowship for credit. And Brett, you have something you'd like to say.
Thank you, President Jim. Hey, on November 15th, Pickle and Pints. Do we have any pickleball players in the house? Do we have anybody that wants to play pickleball? Anybody that's ever played pickleball? Sign up. We'll have two divisions. We'll have the novice division and then the experienced division. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's at PKLX in partnership with PKLX and the Country Boy Brewing Company. Pickle and Pints, $50 to play. Please sign up. See Susie if you'd like to sponsor. There's stuff on the table for more information. We're going to be hitting it hard and often from now until the 45 days to the event. So appreciate your support. Pickle and Pints.
And now my boss for the next 3 months with our newest Rotarian, Nikki.
We'll see. We'll see who bosses whom. One of my best phone calls I ever get is when a executive director from another large club calls me and says, "Oh, we're so sorry. We have a member leaving our club and they're moving to Lexington." Really? Well, I got that phone call from Nashville with all kinds of kudos to Zach Moscow. He grew up here, and in the meantime, he has been a traveling musician, a keyboardist. So, Jim, you may want to sign him up. After that, he was in the beer industry with Rheingast, a man of many talents, you can tell right now. And during COVID, he went back and got his MBA, and now he works for NetGain Technology and is involved in IT and cybersecurity. So we're very lucky to have Zach, who is a seasoned Rotarian interested in backpack and habitat builds. And I'm sure he will make a big impact on our club. Please welcome Zach.
And speaking of music, yesterday, Jamie brought it to our attention. Yesterday was the 100th and 10th anniversary of this club. And I mentioned music because when we had the 100th anniversary, Dean Hammonds summoned me to write a song for it. And I'm still waiting for the check. But it is on my new album, which is available on Apple Music and Spotify, and it's free. You don't have to pay. It's called Serving. So if you want to hear it, it was great fun. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Don Hart.
Hello, my fellow Rotarians. It's good to see some of you in person. I've seen a lot of you on the Zoom over the last few years, but this is the first time I'm seeing a lot of you in person, so it's good to see you. Let me tell you before I get to the introduction, the best way, okay, a lot of you that know me know that my job is to be the before picture, right? To be the example of what not to do. So if you want to meet somebody for the first time, I tell you the first time I met Kenny Brooks, it was madness last year, and the women had come and did their thing and gotten off the court. I was standing back there. The men were doing their thing, and Kenny came and stood right in front of me. So I tapped him on the shoulder. Don't do this, by the way. I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm going to be screaming your name this year." That's not the right way to start a conversation, just so you know. But at any rate, it is my distinct and almost humble honor and privilege to introduce our guest speaker today. Kenny Brooks is a 1992 graduate of James Madison University, where he played basketball under the greatest program builder in college basketball history, Hall of Famer Lefty Driesell. After a couple of stints as an assistant men's basketball coach at VMI and then back at JMU, he became the head coach of the women's team at his alma mater in 2003, where he went on to become the winningest coach in program history. In 2017, he became the head coach of Virginia Tech, where he led the Hokies to 8 straight winning seasons and eventually to the Final Four in 2023. And then on March 24th, 2024, he was named the 9th head coach of the University of Kentucky women's basketball team. He quickly recruited 11 players and 11 coaches and staff members to the Wildcats. And all they did was go 23-8, finish 4th in the SEC, crack the top 10 for a bet, lead the nation in blocks per game, tie or break 12 school records, produce an All-American and 2 All-SEC players, the Sporting News Coach of the Year, sell out every season ticket, sell out Memorial Coliseum completely 4 times, and bring a 10-year high 3.59 team GPA to the University of Kentucky. So besides being the coolest man on campus, Kenny loves spending time on the water on his boat. He loves sherbet. He's made sherbet the official dessert for pregame meals. He learned, this is great. He learned how to create basketball plays from a board game that he played as a kid. And since he got here, well, first of all, this guy, he has seen every single episode of the Andy Griffith Show and Sanford and Son. So that's fantastic. In his first year in Lexington, he met his idol, Tubby Smith. He's also met Rick Pitino, John Calipari, and of course, Mark Pope. But more than all of that, he's a devoted father and husband to his wife, Chrissy, and his kids, Kendall, Chloe, Gabby, and Nicholas. So Rotarians, get on your feet and make some noise for the head coach of your University of Kentucky Wildcats, Kenny Briggs.
Wow. That was awesome. Can you please come to my house every day? And when I come home from work, introduce me like that to my wife so she'll get excited. That is awesome. That is awesome. I tell you what, I've been here for a year and I've been asking everybody, where do the cool kids hang out? Now I know this is the place to be. All right, this is the place to be. Before I do want to Associate Head Coach Lindsay Hicks. If you can stand up, Lindsay. Stay standing, Lindsay. Okay. Lindsay's been with me for a while, I think six years, Lindsay. And often she gets mistaken as being one of my players. And so what I think, if anybody wants to talk to her and get it out of her, I think she has the Fountain of Youth somewhere. Because she does a tremendous job for us, but tremendous coach, tremendous mentor of young women. And we are very fortunate to have her on our staff, but we are very fortunate to have her at the University of Kentucky helping lead the program and the future leaders of tomorrow. So Lindsay Hicks. First and foremost, I'm excited to be here. Not only at the Rotary Club, but also at the University of Kentucky in Lexington, Kentucky. A lot of you guys know my path, what we just talked about. But I'll tell you a little bit about my history. Growing up, small town in Waynesboro, Virginia, not a lot of people in my town got out of the town. So it's always, hey, you be a star athlete, but for some reason you never got out and got an opportunity. And I wanted that opportunity, and I felt like basketball was going to be that way for me. If it weren't for basketball, I wouldn't have gotten a scholarship. I love my mother to death. She worked 2 jobs to just put food on the table, but probably college was not in the cards for me if I didn't find a different way. So basketball was that way for me. It was a way of life. It taught me so many different things as we grow up. Unfortunately, sometimes we get to the point where sports now are not what they were meant to be. They were meant to be, hey, grow up, learn camaraderie, passion, teamwork, how to work with others. And sometimes we get to the point now where we see in our society today, they look at it as a means to try to be Michael Jordan or something like that. So sometimes we lose our way. But for me, it was everything. It taught me so much how to be a wonderful person, a good teammate. And I worked hard, hard, hard. And, growing up, I always had the dream. I wanted to be an NBA player, just like anybody else, just like anybody else. And I didn't know if that situation was going to happen. So what was going to be my fallback? I wanted to be something else. I also wanted to be a coach. And for me growing up, it was very ironic. Maybe God has a different way of just touching us or letting us know or guiding us. But at the age of about 13 and 14, my favorite hat was a Power K hat. Okay. Power K hat. And it was for Kenny at that moment. But I also I also knew that somebody that I loved and deared and I saw that could be a mentor to me, Tubby Smith, was the head coach at Kentucky. And so for me, that was an influence. Okay, maybe I can get out. So I worked really hard. I got a scholarship, as I mentioned, to go to James Madison University. Played there for 4 years under legendary Lefty Driesell, who I thought was crazy at the time. And he was a madman out of his mind. But what I found out was he was influencing me more than I ever thought he could. I wanted to be. I started to coach, and my philosophies were very similar to his. And he taught me how to incorporate family into the basketball business. Wherever he went, his wife was. And he told me that you could be successful doing that. So that is something that I've carried to this day in my coaching philosophy. And everything that we do is very family oriented. So going to college, I played basketball there. As I mentioned, I wanted to be a professional player. It wasn't in the cards. Lefty gave me an opportunity to coach. So I saw the basketball side of it from a different era. And I worked hard. I worked hard, and I was on the men's side, and I was working hard to be achieving my goals. Something was just missing. Because when I was a player, I would always watch the women's team practice. I would always go to their games, and it always wasn't a really cool thing to do. We would finish practice. My teammates would, let's go do what 20-year-olds do on a college campus, and I would stay and watch the women's team practice. And they would say, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's basketball." Yeah, and to me, it was in basketball in its purest form. And so I would stay and I would watch them practice. Huge fan of theirs. So when I got my opportunity to start coaching, it was on the men's side because it's all I knew. All my contacts were on the men's side, but I was always drawn to the women's side. So 10 years in my coaching career, I was thinking about getting out of it. I was like, just it's a grind. I don't know if this is really what I wanted to do. I didn't have that passion for it as much as I wanted to have. And then I got an opportunity. I got an opportunity from the women's coach at James Madison. And he said, "I would love to have you on my staff because I know you've been talking about it." And so I thought about it. I talked to my wife about it. She says, "It's been a passion of yours. Why don't you take it?" I said, "Okay." I talked to my academic coordinator, who was like my mentor, somebody who just really, I really, really trusted everything that she said. She said, "You've been talking about this. Go ahead and take it." So then I called my mom and I talked to her about it. And my mom says, "Don't you dare take it." And I'm like, "But why? But why?" And she said, "You're going to be the next head. You could be a men's head coach and blah, 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 blah. And I don't really like women's basketball." Okay. So I didn't take it. And for 2 years, I was like, I should have taken that job because it was my passion. So 2 years later, the same coach comes back to me and he says, "I have a position open. Do you want it?" So I talked to my wife. My wife was like, "You need to take it because it's your passion." I talked to my academic coordinator. She said, "You need to take this job. It's your passion." I didn't call my mom. I didn't call my mom. And I accepted the job, and it was an uproar in that little small town of Harrisonburg, Virginia. The headlines read on the front page of the sports, no, front page of the paper. It said Brooks jumps ship, and everybody was just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Other coaches were calling me, "What are you?" And I'm like, "It's be on the women's side." And by that time, I'd already had two little omens, two little daughters, and I'm like, "Okay, someone's speaking to me that this is where I need to be." And I made the jump, and immediately I felt like I was at home. I felt like, this was basketball in its purest form. And from that point on, I became a champion for women's sports because I played on the men's side. We packed the house every night. Then I would come to the women's game, and it was like not even a quarter full. And I would watch the young women work as hard or harder than the men. And I was like, okay, they deserve more. They deserve more. And so I had to get a few wins under my belt before I was really starting to champion really hard for it. And then you know how if you get a little bit of success, then you can ask for a lot more. And we continued. And at James Madison, we had an opportunity, and we took a program that was probably the middle of the pack to the point where we were a perennial mid-major powerhouse. My last 3 years at James Madison in conference, we went 60-3. And it was like, okay. And by the time I left James Madison, we were selling out every game. And because we were fighting for the cause and make sure that these young women got the opportunities. So from there, my opportunities took me, and I went to Virginia Tech. ACC program. The year I got there, they were dead last, dead last. And we came out to our first game. It's a 9,000 seat arena, and there was probably my wife, my kids. I think some other coaches had some complimentary ticket list. And I thought, okay, we're going to build this. We're going to build it, and it took a little bit of time. And my last year at Virginia Tech, 9,000 seat arena, we sold out every game. 9,000. And the proudest moments that I have was that, because people were coming and recognizing that the sport is a great sport, and they were giving us the same energy, same opportunities to grow a sport. Okay, grow a sport. And that has been something that I've wanted to do. I came here to the University of Kentucky, and I came here because I felt like it was a sleeping giant. You think of Kentucky, Power K when I was growing up. You think of Kentucky, basketball, Adolph Rupp. You can go on and on and on. As we mentioned, in one calendar year, I met 3 championship caliber coaches. And so tradition, and I wanted to see that. And I got here, and immediately I got embraced, not only by UK but from Lexington. And this place is wonderful. It is wonderful. Other places that I coached at, you could either eat here or there, and that was it. Here, there's so many opportunities for so many different things, and it's been a blessing for us to be able to encounter it. But I think the biggest part of us coming here, and the best part, is the people. The people here are unbelievable. The fan base is crazy, but unbelievably crazy, nice, and very knowledgeable and understanding their sports and what they want. Very respectful. I can go around town. If you see me around town, please come up to me. So so graceful. They'll wait till I'm finished eating, and then they'll come talk to me, and that doesn't happen all the time, but it's been a blessing for us to be here. And I think one of the biggest things that we can also talk about is Memorial Coliseum and the renovations there. We live vicariously through your eyes when you tell us stories about Old Memorial, because we have never seen Old Memorial. And the stories that you guys tell us, I am thankful that we have New Memorial. Like some of the stories you guys tell me, I'm like, no way. No, the ceiling was what? It was falling, But now we have the opportunity to go into what I call a very unique, cozy, and great home feel, a home court advantage in an arena that really helps us sell to recruits. So I feel like what we have an opportunity to really grow this program and build a tradition on the women's side, like it is on the men's side. And what I've learned as I've gone out, in recruiting areas away from Lexington, is that you have the University of Kentucky on your chest. People will listen. Recruits will listen. And we've had an opportunity now with new energy that we bringing people in, bringing players in that, a lot of times may not have even considered a situation like this. But with the energy that we have, the arena that we have, we feel like the sky's the limit. Therefore, that's how last year, I love that introduction, by the way, with all the accomplishments. That was pretty good to get that, because sometimes we go so fast that we don't even see that it's happening. And what we did last year was a remarkable year. To come in, we only had 2 players here. We had to get 11 more. We had to get a schedule. We had to get a staff. and we came in, and I remember a lot. Everybody kept saying, well, are you ready for the SEC? Are you ready for the SEC? And you hear it enough. And one time I was at a speaking engagement, and somebody said, well, are you ready for the SEC? And it just came out. And before I could catch it, I said, was the SEC ready for us? And and we came out, and thank goodness my girls backed me up. But we played a brand of basketball that I don't know if there's some season ticket holders here or people who are here that I thought was very enjoyable. And that's something that we want to do. We want to put a good product out on the floor, one that you guys can enjoy, that you can get behind, you can root for, and you can be proud of. And I think we did that last year when a lot of people didn't really believe in what we were capable of doing. We did. We did, and we felt it. And the way that the team bonded together, even at the beginning of the year, we had two injuries that could have decimated our hopes and what we were trying to do. But we just put our head down and we kept going. And we achieved what we knew we could achieve if we stuck together. All right. If you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to, and that was a great proverb that you guys talked about. And that's the way we lived because we had to do it together. We had to do it together. And as a result, we won a lot of basketball games last year. We won a lot of the right basketball games. And when I was at Virginia Tech, we beat Louisville for the ACC championship, but it did not. But it did not feel half as good as when we beat Louisville here. Yeah. And I remember, because we played Louisville every year at Virginia Tech, and it was a conference game. Okay, it's a conference game, but it was a conference game, and Louisville week here. I mean, people just kept coming up to me and they just kept patting me on the back. Are you ready? I'm like, for what? And they were like, you got Louisville this week. I said, I know, I know. And all week it was like that all the time, all the time. And I'm like, I talked to my staff, and I'm like, this game's a big deal around here. And winning that game, I think, was the first time in 8 or 9 years that we beat Louisville. That was the trigger to start. And I think it brought a lot of energy to us. And that place was rocking that night. It was that was the most fun I've ever had beating Louisville in Kentucky Blue. We go on and we have a great year. Everything is still going on and on and on. And then here comes Tennessee week. Are you ready? For what? It was Tennessee. And again, at Virginia Tech, we beat Tennessee to go to the Final Four. And so we've had experience playing them and beating them. I'm like, well, what's the big deal? And then we beat Tennessee, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty big deal around here. And so just having games like that throughout the season, and just the way the kids came together, the way they represented you, the way they represented our team, the way they represented each other, is something that we're proud of and we're always going to be able to do, because it's not just about the wins. It's win with dignity. We're going to bring in recruits to be proud of. We're excited about the future and where we can go. We've got a good start to the recruiting class next year. I know there's some media here, but we've got 2 top 20 players committed, and we're not done yet. And that's because of the energy that Kentucky is providing for us. And I think that we can be a powerhouse. I really do. And I'm excited for where we're going to be able to go. This year's team, if you haven't bought your season tickets, do so. Tell your friend to buy some. And let's make Memorial a place that's going to be rocking, because we have a really good basketball team, a team that you guys can get behind and really root for. We don't have, Georgia Amore this year, which really hurts me to my heart, because I think she's been my point guard for like the last 15 years. And, but, something that, she and I really developed a chemistry that, she followed me here, and we were able to help the foundation of our program for years to come. She's doing wonderfully right now. And a lot of you guys may know she tore ACL. I was not able to play in her inaugural season, rookie year, for the WNBA, but she was actually here with us like for a week, 2 weeks ago. She calls Lexington home. She's already making Christmas plans to come back here to Lexington, and that's how much of a impact that Lexington and University of Kentucky has had on her, and that makes me very appreciative, because when the community braces my women, my young ladies, then I can go free, and I know that everything is safe and everybody's good. But we're excited for this year. this is the tallest team that I've ever had in coaching in 24 years. We're going to have probably a 5'10" point guard, a 6'1" two guard, a 6'4" small forward, a 6'5" power forward, and a 6'5" center. And when we bring the huddle in, they tower over me, and I'm like, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. And the great thing too is that these kids are mobile. They're all very professional. And as we mentioned, like they're 3.5, 3.6 GPAs. They're very approachable. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, because they're our future leaders of tomorrow. And they are representing us in a tremendous way. So we're excited about the season. I looked at the schedule the other day. We didn't, the SEC kind of messed us up a little bit because we were supposed to have a non-conference game here, the challenge game, but they sent us on the road for a second year in a row. So we don't have as much of a marquee game here, non-conference wise. But I was looking at our schedule, and they had a preseason top 25 come out, and we play out of the top 20 teams. I think we play 11 of them. Yeah. So, the only beauty, the good thing with that is that you're one of them too. So you can go and compete, So we're excited about that, but we're going to have a really tough schedule. We're going to need you. We're going to need you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We can work and we'll put the product together and we'll be ready to roll. But the way that you guys can embrace the atmosphere and come out there and help us in that sense. If you see my girls out on the street, just go up to them and, tell them that you appreciate them. They'll have a big smile. They'll appreciate that. Because we're all about family. We want to make sure we represent the right way. But it's going to be an exciting year for us. Come on out. We're going to be good. I could give you coach talk and I could say, but we'll be good if you guys come out and you support us. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for embracing me, my staff. This transition to Lexington to University of Kentucky has been unbelievable. It's been very smooth. And it's one that we sit around as a staff and we just talk about the many wonderful things about Lexington and how we can bring people in and how we can help continue to grow this program. The only problem is that, I have a very high metabolism and I can never gain weight. And I came here and in 1 year I gained 20 pounds. So now I got to start work. I got to find a gym now. I got to find a gym to work out in. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful atmosphere here, and we thank you guys for everything. And so this is my favorite part of the day. I can ramble all day long, but I want to hear questions that you guys have so I can answer anything. I'll be as open as I can. I can't talk about certain things, but I'll try to talk about most. Yeah, the question was about the transfer portal and NIL. It's a whirlwind. It really is. And I'm old school. And as I mentioned early in my speech, I'm a product of gaining a scholarship, which I probably couldn't have. And that put me on my path to work hard and understand, what it's going to take to become successful. The NIL and the transfer portal, I think it all happened too fast. It all happened too fast because everything that's going on right now, you just don't have guardrails. And we sit and we meet for probably hours a day. And what we met on a Tuesday might be irrelevant on Thursday because it's changing so much. So I'm not a proponent of it. I wish that it were different, but it's not in the world we live in. So we embrace it, and you want to make sure that the kids are getting all the opportunities that they can from it. But the transfer portal and the way everything is set up right now, it just feels like these kids are free agents after every year. And to me, it's hard. It's my job to navigate it, and that's what I'm supposed to do. But I think it's harder for you, the fans, because the kids come in 1 year and then they're gone the next, and then somebody else is coming in for 1 year and then they're gone. So it doesn't give you the traditional way of growing up with the kids.
you know, you watch a kid come in as a freshman, and then you see what they develop into as a senior. You feel like you had a part of that, you know, as a fan base. And now they're coming in because they're taking advantage of not advantage of the rules, they're just abiding by the rules and doing what they are able to do. And it just causes a lot of movement, and it puts a lot of pressure and stress on us as coaches. So I just wish there were more guardrails to it. You know, we have to embrace it because it's here and it's here to stay. But I just think it went from 0 to 100 in 1 year, and we weren't able to regulate it like it should be, because I think it could have some merit. It really can. You know, you want to give kids an opportunity to, if they don't have a pleasant experience one place, to be able to move, but not 3 times or 4 times. And it just causes a lot of dissension, not dissension, but a little less connectivity from the fan base. I danced around that a little bit. But we gonna have a bourbon, we might have a different conversation. Yeah, Jordan Obi. Um, Jordan is a very strong, powerful player. She can play 4 positions for us. If you heard me talk about it last year, and I sound like I was whining a little bit, we weren't as deep. We were anticipating having depth with Jordan Obi as one of our players. She would have provided so much, you know, versatility for us. But she got hurt. She tore Achilles. Rehabbed extremely well last year, kept her out, and then she's going to be eligible for her last year here. She's moving along very nicely. She's probably 95%. No restrictions on her. She's working hard. She's going to be a big impact, have a big impact for us. Very smart young lady. If you ever want to engage in a in-depth conversation, you better be ready for it, because she graduated from the University of Penn in 3 years. And so she's a very smart young lady. And she's going to add so much to our team this year, and I'm excited for her, proud of her because of what she was able to go through. But I think Big Blue Nation is going to love attaching themselves to her for the final year.
One more question.
I think you see the teamwork, more passes that are involved, really the fundamental roots. And it used to could say that, well, they're not as athletic. Well, man, these kids are athletic now. We're recruiting a young lady that can throw it down with the best of them, you know, and so you're watching the athleticism grow and grow and grow. So that's not just the only reason, but I coached on the men's side and I coached on the women's side, and women are better leaders. They're smarter, and they're willing to work. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I live in a house full of women. Okay. All right, so put it this way: when I was on the men's side, and you know, my playbook would be that big, and going to the women's side, my playbook is that big, and I can give them something in November and don't run it again until March, and I'll ask them about it in March, and they remember it from November. But it's below the rim, but it's a lot of passes, cuts, and reliant on teamwork. If you watch the NBA right now, it hasn't crept into college basketball as much, but if you watch the NBA right now, man, it is just straight one-on-one, dribble 17 times before you can get a shot off. And I think women's basketball is more like old school, where it's a lot of passing, cutting, relying on each other, and teamwork. So that's my opinion. So thank you guys very much.
Coach, thank you. And we have a gift for you from our esteemed Bill Strauss photographer.
Okay,
So we're going to pack the memorial. In 1966, I would go there and get second pairs of socks from Bill Tightly to that. So Sean, come up here. We got 2 more things real quick.
Yeah, real quick, if you were here last week, you'll remember I came up at the end of the meeting and gave you an assignment to bring somebody who would be specifically interested in what Coach Brooks had to say, and y'all knocked it out of the park. Problem with that is if you do well at something, you get asked to do it again. So here's your assignment for next week. Mayor Gordon's going to be our speaker. You know somebody who's new to Lexington, think about inviting them. You know somebody who does business with the city, think about inviting them. You know somebody who complains about taxes or potholes. Think about bringing them. If you can get 1 out of 3, you're in the Hall of Fame. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right. One last thing before I get to bang the gavel. Can't wait to do this. You know, we have a club that, let's just say there's a group of us that are older, and there are health challenges that come along from time to time. So we want to celebrate when folks come back after being away. Carl Lang is back, and Tom. The world famous Dean Lester is back, and we've been praying for you. We're going to keep praying for you. So it's a great day to be a Lexington Rotarian, to go out, do more, do better, and just be kind.